Under every Nan's kitchen sink sat a brown glass bottle of Sarson's malt vinegar, and that bottle did more work than half the cupboard above it. Long before Tesco groaned with a different spray for every surface, Vinegar cleaned the windows, softened the washing, killed the weeds, and saved the dinner. It cost pennies and never needed a label promising to kill 99.9% of germs. Number 9 on this list was so cheap, the cleaning companies quietly pretended it was useless. And number 1, your Nan replaced a whole cupboard of products with a single bottle, and nobody ever told you. Hit that subscribe button, because by the end, you'll wonder why you ever paid for the rest. Let's count down the 25 vinegar tricks that ran the British home. Number 25. Streak-free windows with vinegar and newspaper. Before the blue spray bottle with the trigger top, your Nan cleaned every pane in the house with white vinegar and yesterday's Daily Mirror. She'd mix a good slosh of vinegar into a bowl of warm water, dip a cloth, wipe the glass, then buff it dry with crumpled newspaper. The vinegar cut through grease and the fly marks that built up over a summer, while the newspaper left no lint behind, just glass so clear the neighbors thought the window was open. The acid dissolved the thin film that ordinary water left streaking in the light. A bottle cost a few pence and did the whole house, front and back. Modern glass sprays leave a waxy residue that smears the moment the sun hits it. Nan's windows simply vanished, and she never paid for the privilege. Number 24. Descaling the kettle. In hard water towns, the kettle furred up white inside within weeks, and a scaled-up kettle took twice as long to boil and tasted faintly of chalk. Your Nan filled it halfway with vinegar and water, brought it almost to the boil, then switched it off and left it to fizz and work overnight. By morning, the limescale had loosened into soft flakes she could tip away, and a quick rinse left the element bright as the day it was bought. The acetic acid dissolved the calcium carbonate that no amount of scrubbing could shift. A descaling sachet from the shop costs a small fortune now, and does exactly the same job. Nan knew the brown bottle under the sink would manage it for the price of a stamp, and her kettle outlasted 3 of the cheap ones we buy today. Number 23. The fabric softener nobody had to buy. Long before plastic bottles of lavender softener appeared in every utility room, your Nan poured a small cup of white vinegar into the final rinse of the wash. It sounds mad, but it worked. The vinegar broke down the soap residue that left towels stiff and scratchy, leaving them soft, fluffy, and oddly fresh. And no, the washing never smelled of chips, because the smell rinsed clean away as the water drained. It even kept the colors from going dull and stopped the whites from graying. A bottle did dozens of loads for the cost of a single shop-bought softener. Comfort and its rivals spent millions teaching us we needed a special bottle for soft towels. Your Nan had been getting the same result for decades with the same vinegar she used on her chips. Number 22. Bringing graying whites back to life. School shirts, pillowcases, and Sunday best all turned the same tired gray eventually, dulled by detergent buildup and hard water. Your Nan didn't reach for bleach, which weakened the fibers and yellowed them in time. She soaked the whites overnight in a bucket of hot water with a generous cup of white vinegar, then washed them as normal. The vinegar stripped the soapy film that dulled the cloth and lifted the grey, returning the cotton to a proper bright white. It softened the water at the same time, so the detergent worked harder. A bucket of vinegar water cost next to nothing and saved a whole drawer of shirts from the rag bag. We buy expensive whitening powders now and wonder why they barely work, never knowing the answer sat under the sink the whole time. Number 21. Lime scale off the taps and shower head. The chrome taps in a hard water house crusted over with white scale that no cloth could wipe away. Your Nan soaked a rag in neat white vinegar, wrapped it round the base of the tap, and left it an hour. For the shower head, she'd take it off and drop it in a bowl of vinegar, or tie a vinegar-filled freezer bag over it with a rubber band so every blocked hole sat submerged. The scale softened and rinsed clean, and the spray ran straight and strong again instead of squirting sideways across the bath. The acid dissolved the mineral deposits that build up wherever hard water dries. Plumbers' descaling gels cost a fortune and smell like a swimming pool. Nan's taps gleamed for pennies, and the shower ran like new. Number 20. Steam cleaning the microwave in minutes. When the inside of the microwave was caked with the explosions of 100 tins of beans, your nan didn't scrub. She half-filled a bowl with water, added a good splash of vinegar, and ran it on full power for 5 minutes until the room filled with steam. That steam, sharp with vinegar, loosened every baked-on splatter so the whole inside wiped clean with a single cloth, no elbow grease at all. The acid in the steam softened the dried-on grease and food that had welded itself to the walls. It killed the lingering smell of last night's fish at the same time. A spray-on microwave cleaner costs more than a litre of vinegar and works half as well. Your nan let the steam do the work while she put the kettle on, and the microwave looked brand new by the time the tea was brewed. Number 19. Killing the weeds on the garden path. First pattern break. Here's where it gets interesting. The weeds that pushed up through the cracks in the crazy paving used to mean an afternoon on your knees with a knife until your nan filled a watering can with neat white vinegar, added a fistful of salt and a squirt of washing-up liquid, and soaked them on a hot, dry day. By the next morning, the weeds had wilted black and crisp, dead to the root in the cracks where nothing should grow. The acetic acid drew the moisture straight out of the leaves and scorched them faster than any branded weed killer. And here's the part the garden centers won't tell you. The expensive weed killer on their shelf is doing much the same job, just dressed up in a fancy bottle with a warning label. Nan's path stayed clear all summer for the price of a Sunday roast's worth of vinegar. Number 18. Lifting the stain out of the carpet. When someone trod a muddy boot across the front room or knocked a cup of tea onto the good carpet, your nan didn't panic. She blotted up what she could, then dabbed the mark with a cloth wrung out in a mix of vinegar and warm water, working from the outside in so it never spread. The vinegar broke down the stain and lifted the color without bleaching the carpet beneath it, and it took the sour smell of spilled milk clean away. For a really stubborn mark, a paste of vinegar and bicarbonate of soda worked into the pile and brushed out once dry did the trick. A whole carpet shampoo set cost pounds, and the hire of a machine cost more. Nan rescued the 3-piece suite's worth of carpet with a cloth and a brown bottle, and you'd never know the spill had happened. Number 17. Polishing the brass and copper back to gold. Every front room had brass to keep shining, the door knocker, the fire tools, the horse brasses on the mantel, and a copper kettle or warming pan that came out at Christmas. The shop polish was dear and smelled like petrol. Your nan made a paste of vinegar, salt, and a little flour, smear it over the dull metal, left it 10 minutes, then rinsed and buffed it to a deep, warm shine. The acid and the salt together stripped the tarnish that dimmed the brass to brown, and the flour held the paste in place long enough to work. The metal came up gleaming like a new penny. We pay a small fortune for a tin of metal polish that runs out in a month. Nan's pantry made an endless supply, and the brasses on her wall outshone anyone's on the street. Number 16. Peeling off the stubborn sticker. New crockery, picture frames, kids' toys, jam jars saved for the homemade marmalade. Everyone came with a price label that fought to the death and left a grey, gummy smear when you finally tore it. Your nan soaked the spot in warm vinegar, leaving a vinegar-damp cloth pressed over it for a few minutes, and the glue simply dissolved. The label and the sticky residue wiped away with a thumbnail, leaving the glass or china perfectly clean and ready for use. The acid broke down the adhesive that water alone just smeared around. She did this with every reused jam jar, so the labels she wrote herself in pencil would stick clean and straight. We scrape and swear and reach for white spirit now. Nan reached for the vinegar, and the jar came up spotless, ready for another year's worth of damson jam. Number 15. Freshening the washing machine itself. Over the years, the washing machine started to smell, a damp, musty whiff that clung to the clean clothes coming out of it. Your nan poured 2 cupfuls of white vinegar straight into the empty drum and ran it on the hottest, longest wash with nothing inside. The vinegar cut through the slimy build-up of old detergent and softener hiding in the rubber seal and the pipes and stripped away the bacteria that caused the smell. The machine came out clean and odorless, and the next wash smelled properly fresh again. Modern machine cleaners come in single-use sachets that cost more each than a litre of vinegar that does 10 cleans. The manufacturers will tell you to buy their special tablets. Your Nan kept her machine running sweet for 20 years on the bottle she already had and never read the instruction booklet once. Number 14. The sweat-stained collar rescued. A man's white work shirt yellowed at the collar and under the arms no matter how often it was washed. The marks, set in by sweat and deodorant, that ordinary detergent slid straight past. Your Nan dabbed neat white vinegar onto the stain, rubbed it in gently, and left it half an hour before the shirt went in the wash. The acid dissolved the proteins and the chalky deposit that built up where sweat dried into the cotton, and the collar came out white again, instead of that tired, tea-colored yellow. She did the same with shirt cuffs and the underarms of summer blouses. We throw shirts away now, or buy stain pens that cost £3 a go. Nan kept a man in clean collars for years on a splash of vinegar, and Sunday best stayed Sunday best far longer than the shop would ever want. Number 13. Stopping the ants at the back door. When the warm weather brought a column of ants marching across the kitchen lino toward the sugar bowl, your Nan didn't reach for poison with the dog and the children about. She wiped the worktops, the windowsill, and the line of march with a cloth soaked in vinegar and water. The ants vanished within the day. The vinegar wiped out the invisible scent trail the ants laid down for each other, so the followers lost the path to the food and gave up. She'd go over the doorstep and the skirting where they came in, and the kitchen stayed clear all summer. Modern ant powders and bait traps cost money and sit there looking dangerous on the floor. Nan's vinegar broke the trail without a trace of poison, and the only smell was gone within the hour, taking the ants with it. Number 12. Cleaning the gunged-up steam iron. The steam iron in a hard water house furred up inside just like the kettle, spitting brown water and white flakes onto the clean shirts and dragging instead of gliding. Your Nan filled the water tank with equal parts vinegar and water, set the iron upright on a tea towel, and let it steam itself clear, pressing the steam button until the holes ran clean. The vinegar dissolved the lime scale, blocking the vents, and a cotton bud dipped in vinegar cleaned the brown deposit from each little hole. Rinsed through with plain water afterward, the iron glided again, and the steam came out white. Replacement irons cost a small fortune, and the new ones scale up just the same. Nan's iron lasted decades because she cleaned it through twice a year, and her ironing never once came out with a brown tide mark across the front. Number 11. Reviving the rock-hard paintbrush. Second pattern break. Controversy incoming. When your granddad left a good paintbrush to dry solid after gloss painting the skirting, it went stiff as a board and looked fit for the bin. Your Nan stood it in a jar of hot vinegar instead, left it to soak for a few hours, sometimes warming the vinegar gently on the stove first. The bristles softened and the dried paint loosened until the brush combed clean and bent like new. The acid broke down the hardened paint and varnish that water couldn't touch. Here's the bit the DIY shops would rather you didn't know. A decent brush cost real money even then, and they'd sell you a new one every job if they could. Nan saved the same brush a dozen times over. The man behind the counter never saw Grandad twice for the same brush, and that suited Nan's purse just fine. Number 10. Mopping the lino and the wood floors. The kitchen lino and the hallway floorboards took a beating, scuffed and grimy and dulled by the build-up of every floor cleaner that promised to shine and left a sticky film instead. Your Nan filled the mop bucket with warm water and a good cup of vinegar, and that was the whole recipe. The vinegar cut through the grease and the residue, lifted the dirt, and dried without streaking, leaving the lino with a proper clean shine and the boards looking fed rather than coated. It killed the kitchen smells at floor level too, where the dog slept. A bottle of branded floor cleaner cost more than a week of vinegar mopping. The company sold us shine in a bottle that built up into the very grime it claimed to fight. Nan's floors stayed clean because vinegar took the dirt away instead of layering over it. Number 9. Unblocking the slow drain. The kitchen sink that gurgled and drained slow, clogged with grease and tea leaves, used to mean a caustic bottle of drain cleaner that burned your hands and the pipes both. Your Nan tipped a good handful of bicarbonate of soda down the plug hole, then poured a kettle's worth of hot vinegar straight after it. The drain erupted into a volcano of foam, fizzing and crackling as the two reacted, and that froth scoured the grease from the inside of the pipe. A flush of boiling water sent the lot away, and the sink ran free again. Here's what the chemical companies kept quiet. Their drain cleaner cost pounds and ate at the pipework, while bicarb and vinegar cost coppers and harmed nothing. Nan kept every drain in the house running clear with 2 things from the pantry, and a plumber's bill was a thing that happened to other families. Number 8. Taking the rust-off tools and the bike chain. The garden shears, the spanners, Grandad's spanner set, and the children's bike all spotted with rust after a wet winter, and a rusted tool was a stiff, useless tool. Your Nan dropped the small bits straight into a jar of neat white vinegar and left them overnight. For the bigger pieces, she soaked a rag and wrapped it round the rusted part. By morning, the rust had dissolved into a soft brown sludge that scrubbed away with a wire ball, leaving bright, clean metal beneath. The acetic acid reacted with the rust and lifted it off without taking the good steel with it. A wipe of oil afterward kept it from coming back. New tools cost real money and rusted just the same. Nan kept a whole shed of tools working for the price of the vinegar she pickled the onions in. Number 7. Cleaning the grimy grout. The white grout between the bathroom tiles turned grey and then black with mold and soap scum, and nothing made a bathroom look tired faster. Your Nan sprayed or dabbed neat white vinegar along the lines, left it to sit, then scrubbed with an old toothbrush kept just for the job. For the worst of it, she made a paste with bicarb. The vinegar killed the mold and dissolved the soap film, and the grout came back to a clean, pale grey, sometimes near white again. The acid did what scrubbing alone never could, breaking down the scum that held the dirt in place. Branded mold sprays cost a packet and fill the room with fumes that catch your throat. Nan's bathroom came up clean with an old toothbrush and the brown bottle, and the tiles looked freshly grouted without a single tradesman setting foot through the door. Number 6. The jam jar wasp trap. Third pattern break. Come the late summer, the wasps descended on the back garden, on the jam at tea time and the windfall apples, and ruined every meal outdoors. Your Nan made a trap from an empty jam jar. She'd pour in an inch of vinegar mixed with a little sugar and water, then make a paper cone or pierce the lid, and the wasps climbed in for the sweet smell and couldn't climb back out. One jar on the garden table cleared the air for a whole afternoon's tea. Cleverer still, the vinegar in the mix put off the bees, who hate the smell. So only the wasps were caught, and the bees left in peace to do their work on the flowers. We buy plastic wasp traps now that cost pounds, and do no more. Nan made hers from a jar saved off the windowsill, and Sunday tea in the garden stayed sweet. Number 5. Banishing the smell the air freshener only hid. When the dog had an accident on the rug, or the cat marked the corner, or the kitchen bin left a stench no spray could mask, your Nan went after the smell at the source. She dabbed vinegar and water onto the spot, let it dry, and the odor lifted clean away. For the room, a small dish of vinegar left out overnight drew the staleness out of the air. Cigarette smoke, fried fish, damp, all of it gone by morning. The vinegar didn't cover the smell with a chemical floury cloud the way the aerosols did. It neutralized the thing causing it. Air fresheners cost money every week and only ever masked the problem for an hour. Nan's house smelled of nothing at all, which is exactly how a clean house should smell, and a saucer of vinegar cost less than a single can of spray. Number 4. Setting the color so the dye never ran. When your Nan bought a new pair of red socks or dyed a faded dress at home, the color would run the first wash and turn a whole load pink. Before the first wash, she soaked the new item in cold water with a good cup of vinegar, leaving it half an hour. The vinegar set the dye into the fibers so it held fast and stopped it bleeding into everything else in the machine. It worked for anything that ran: the dark jeans, the bright tablecloth, the children's football kit. The acid fixed the dye the way a darkroom fixes a photograph, locking the color in place. We buy color catcher sheets now, 1 per wash, that cost more over a year than they're worth. Nan set the color once at the start and never had a pink shirt disaster again, and the reds stayed red for years. Number 3. Soaking the oven racks clean. The oven shelves came out of a Sunday roast, black and greasy, baked on fat welded to the bars, and scrubbing them in the sink got you a sore arm and a filthy kitchen. Your Nan laid the racks in the bath on an old towel or in a big bucket and covered them in hot water with a good slosh of vinegar and a scatter of bicarb. She left them to soak for hours, sometimes overnight. The grease softened and lifted so a cloth wiped it off in long black streaks. No scrubbing, the bars coming up bright and clean. The acid and the bicarb together broke down the carbonized fat that ordinary cleaners just slid over. Oven cleaning kits cost a small fortune and stink the house out with fumes. Nan's racks soaked clean in the bath while she watched her programs, and the oven was ready for the next roast. Number 2. Sparkling glasses and a streak-free mirror. The drinking glasses came out of the washing up cloudy, filmed with the chalk of hard water, and the bathroom mirror fogged and smeared no matter how you wiped it. Your Nan added a splash of vinegar to the rinse water, and the glasses came up clear and sparkling, everyone fit for the front of the cabinet. For the mirror, a cloth wrung out in vinegar and water, then buffed dry, left it so clear and bright it looked like there was no glass there at all. The acid dissolved the mineral film that dulled the glass and left the streaks ordinary cleaners couldn't shift. Special glass rinse aid and mirror sprays cost good money and never matched it. Nan's good glasses caught the light at Christmas like cut crystal, and her mirrors showed you back to yourself without a single smear. Number 1. The one bottle that replaced the whole cupboard. Here it is, the trick that ties all the rest together. Your Nan kept a bottle made up of half white vinegar and half water, sometimes with a strip of lemon peel dropped in to sweeten the smell. And that single bottle did the work of an entire shelf of branded sprays. It cleaned the worktops, the cooker top, the windowsills, the inside of the fridge, the bathroom sink, the tiles, the taps, and the kitchen table every day, all year round. The acid cut grease, lifted limescale, killed germs, and left no sticky residue behind for the dirt to cling to. One bottle, refilled for pennies, that never ran out and never needed a different version for every room. And this is the truth the cleaning companies spent millions to bury, because if you knew one bottle of vinegar did the lot, you'd walk straight past their aisle. They sold us a kitchen spray, a bathroom spray, a glass spray, a floor spray, a multi-surface spray, all of it the same job your Nan did with the brown bottle under the sink. She didn't have a cupboard full of cleaners. She had vinegar, and a clean house, and money left in her purse at the end of the week. So there you have it. The 25 vinegar tricks your Nan used to run the whole house on pennies. Here's my challenge. Pick just one this week. Descale the kettle, soak the oven racks, clean the windows with newspaper. Then come back and tell me in the comments whether your Nan was right all along, because I tried the all-purpose spray and I've not bought a kitchen cleaner since. Tell me which one your Nan swore by, and whether anyone else has kept the brown bottle right beside the sink. She knew. Now you know too.